There are 4 things that determine whether Google Ads will print money for your B2B business or burn it. And today I'm going to walk you through all 4. These are the exact steps that we run before we take on any client at our agency, GrowX. And by the end, you will know with real numbers whether Google Ads will be a profitable channel for your business. And I will be honest with you when the answer is no. One thing to watch for, the 4th step is the one most B2B companies skip entirely. It's the reason most of them conclude that Google Ads doesn't work for us when it could be extremely profitable. So stay for that one. The first thing to check is the most obvious one. Is your solution even searchable? This sounds simple, but let me explain what searchable really means. When your customers already know what the solution to their problem is, you have a searchable product or service. In other words, you have existing demand. If you are, let's say, a company that provides web development services, your customers already know the solution to their problem when they have a broken or an outdated website, which is to hire a web design and web development agency. On the other hand, if you are a company that, for example, built a new AI agent that personalizes an e-commerce website to every visitor, then your customers have no idea your solution exists. In fact, they don't even know they have a problem in the first place. So you need to create new demand. In this case, Google Ads is not a good fit for you. Instead, you might try something else like Meta Ads or LinkedIn Ads to show up first on your prospect's feed to get their attention on your product instead of waiting for them to search and then come to you. I'm going to show you how you can actually see how many people are searching for your product or service every month with data directly from Google. First, you need to open up Google Ads. You may need to make a Google Ads account if you're new. You can access this for free with any Google account. You do not need to spend money to use this feature. So open the Google Ads Keyword Planner, which is under Tools, under Planner. And you want to select the Get Search Volume and Forecast feature. And here you want to type in several search terms that your customers or prospects might be searching on Google to find your solution. So let's say you're a commercial truck leasing company. Your customers might search for something like commercial truck leasing or truck leasing services. So if you look, we have 1K searches on both. That means there is existing demand. If you're seeing over 1,000 searches a month across highly relevant search terms, that's a strong signal that Google is viable for you. If you have less than 1,000, let's say you have a 100 to 1,000, it will still be viable. And to be honest, it's still more than enough if you're just starting out. But as you scale, you might be eventually limited by that search volume as you increase your ad spend on that search term. And under 100, you might need to put together multiple search terms that relate to your business to supplement the small volume. Now, here's the key nuance. Low search volume itself doesn't mean Google Ads will not work for you. It just means you need to be a sniper, not a shotgun. Even if only 50 people click on your ad each month, you're just not going to get 50 leads a month on that specific search term. You might get 5. But if those 5 leads close at a 20% close rate and each deal is worth $20,000 in profit, that's $20,000 from a few thousand in ad spend. Still very profitable. So step 1 is about answering one question: are people actually searching for what you sell? But search volume alone doesn't tell you whether you can actually afford Google Ads. That is step 2. Does the math work? Skipping this step is what makes or breaks advertisers. You can target the best search terms for your business and have the best landing pages, but if the math does not work out, you will never be profitable, no matter how much you tinker with and optimize your ad account. Now, I know some of you may be absolutely overjoyed at the thought of doing the math, but if you're like me and would rather jump into a frozen river in January, don't worry. I've built all the formulas you need into a spreadsheet where you can just plug in the numbers to see if Google Ads will be profitable for you. And you can get it in the link I put in the description under this video. Now, to find if Google Ads will be profitable, we need to start with how much a click will cost you. So back in the Keyword Planner, same screen we were just on, there is a column here called Top of Page Bid High Range. This is Google telling you roughly what you will pay every time someone clicks on your ad. The low range is the low estimate, and the high range is the high estimate. For commercial truck leasing, as you can see here, it's showing us about $10. And one thing to note is that sometimes the numbers can be a little low. So if you want to be extra safe, I would just add 20% on top. So let's take that $20 cost per click and plug it into the spreadsheet that I shared. If you downloaded it, you can do this along with me right now. Put your cost per click in the first field. So we're going to put in $12. Now for the click to landing page form fill conversion rate, let me give you some real benchmarks so you know what numbers to expect. This data is from WordStream. They've analyzed over 16,000 Google Ads campaigns to put this together. The average B2B conversion rate, meaning the percentage of people who click your ad and then fill out a form or book a call on your landing page, is around 3%. So using that 3% number with a $12 cost per click and a 3% conversion rate, the spreadsheet calculates our cost per lead as $400. Now here's where most people stop the calculation. But for a sales-led B2B company, a lead is just someone who filled out a form, not a customer. The number you actually care about is the cost per qualified call, because a call is someone who is qualified and showed up ready to talk with your sales team. Of those leads, 75% book a call. That gives us a cost per book call of $533. And out of those people who book, 80% actually show up. So the cost per call that actually happens is $666. And out of those who showed up, 65% are actually qualified. So the cost per qualified call, cost per qualified showed call is $1,025. Now, $1,025 per call, that sounds expensive. And this is where I see people shut off their campaigns and walk away and act like nothing happened. But they're focusing on the wrong number. Of those qualified calls, 25% close. Cost per close deal is about $4,102. Now, if your lifetime gross profit is $20,000, meaning you make $20,000 from a customer the entire time they stay as your customer, including repeat purchases or renewed contracts, that equals a 4.9x return on your ad spend in profit. So the $1,000 cost per call that looks scary, it's now a machine where you put in $1 to get $5 back. And plenty of businesses only break even on that first deal they acquire via ads, but they end up being extremely profitable because once someone becomes a customer, they repeat purchase or typically upsell into a larger contract. Now the budget question. How much do you actually need to spend to test if these numbers hold? Now it all depends on your industry and cost per click, but here's some rules of thumb. You usually want a budget so that you get at the very least 10 clicks per day. So under $1,000 a month for B2B, it's probably too small. You'll not get enough clicks to prove anything. And if you're between $3,000 to $5,000 a month, this is where you can start getting some meaningful data. For most B2B verticals, this is the minimum to run a meaningful test. And now $5,000 to $10,000 plus, now you definitely have enough volume to test, learn, and start optimizing your ad performance. You don't need to commit $10,000 on day one. I would recommend starting with $3,000 to $5,000 for the first few months. And if the math checks out, scale up. If it doesn't, fix your funnel first, which I will show you how to do later in this video. So now you know there's demand and the math works. The next question is, are competitors investing in Google Ads? Step 3 takes 3 minutes and will tell you exactly how hard or easy it is going to be to compete. Just open Google and type in the same search terms you used in your keyword research. For the sake of this example, I'm going to use managed IT service provider. Take a look. How many competitors are showing up under the sponsored results section? And when you scroll down into the next sponsored results section, are you just seeing the same companies repeat, or are you seeing new companies on every page? Now, you can also click through to their pages. Are they sending you to a page built specifically for that search term, or are they just dumping you on their homepage? Each of these things tells you something different. First of all, if you see multiple companies running Google Ads in your industry, that's actually a good sign. It means that the channel is making money for them. Nobody spends on Google Ads for fun. And if you see no ads at all, either nobody has figured it out yet, which is an opportunity, or the economics don't work for your business model, so you need to dig deeper. And when you look at where those ads send you, if competitors have dedicated landing pages built for different kinds of services or industries, and the landing pages are visibly high quality, it means the market is sophisticated, and you need a strong funnel to win. But if they're sending everyone to their homepage that feels like it was built in early 2000s, that is a gap you can definitely leverage by building better landing pages and get more clicks than those competitors because you have better content and Google algorithm rewards better content. They actually want to send users to the best results, not just the highest bidder. So you have demand, the math works, competitors are on Google Ads. At this point, you're probably thinking, this is golden. I should just build landing pages with a form and then launch, right? And that's the trap, because there's a fourth step, the one I mentioned at the beginning, the one that 80% of B2B businesses sleep on. And it's the reason they end up saying, Google Ads didn't work for us. Do you have the proper funnel structure? Here's what actually happens when a B2B company launches Google Ads without a proper full funnel structure. They set up the campaigns, the ads start running, clicks come in, leads come in, and then nothing happens, no deals close. Because the leads are bad, the sales team is complaining now, the cost per call looks insane, And after 2 or 3 months, someone pulls the plug and says, hey, Google Ads doesn't work for our business. But the ads were fine. The search terms you were targeting were fine. The keywords were fine. The problem was everything that happened after the click. So let me share the 5 exact reasons Google Ads fails so you can prevent them before you even start. Number 1, you're paying for the wrong clicks. Sometimes when you work with an agency, they might bid on your company name even if there are no competitors bidding against you. This makes reporting look good, but they're customers you would have gotten anyways. Other times, the search term you bid on might attract job seekers or people researching the topic. For example, if you're a technical recruiting firm bidding on terms like companies that recruit back-end engineer, you might attract both prospects and job seekers looking to connect with recruiters. You counter this by targeting buyer-specific terms and building robust negative search terms that make sure your ads don't show up for irrelevant searches. Number 2, your landing page doesn't match what the person searched for. For example, a person might have searched cybersecurity for healthcare, and they land on your homepage that talks generically about all of your IT services with no healthcare or cybersecurity specific information. Then they leave, and Google's algorithm actually notices all those things, decides your content isn't relevant, and starts charging you more per every click. And you fix this by building multiple high converting landing pages that are specific to the search terms that you're targeting. If you need more guidance on what makes a landing page high converting, you can check out my high converting Google Ads landing page video on my YouTube channel. Number 3, Google starts sending you junk leads. This is the one nobody talks about. Google's algorithm optimizes for volume. It sends you more of whatever converts fastest, regardless of whether those leads are actually good. If you have no way to tell Google, hey, we don't want this lead, we want more of these leads, the algorithm will never learn, and it just keeps sending you more unqualified people. The way you fix this is by building a qualification filter in the landing page itself that actively rejects low-quality leads and sends data back to Google on which conversions were qualified. Number 4, the lead fills out your form and then waits too long. Your sales team sends an email 6 hours later or the next day, and by then the prospect already booked a call with a competitor. You fix this by implementing a direct booking page that the prospect can schedule a convenient time with you or your sales team themselves. Number 5, the prospect booked a call but didn't show up. You didn't send any reminders. No, there was no pre-call email explaining what to expect. No reason to feel committed about the call, so they ghost when they get busy. You counter this by setting up a nurture sequence that triggers automatically when a lead submits and warming them up before the call even happens by setting expectations, reminders, sometimes sending over case studies, and all those leaks that I just mentioned. When they stack on top of each other, it makes a dramatic difference. It can be the difference between you believing Google Ads doesn't work for your business versus it becoming your largest customer acquisition channel. These are 2 funnels with the same $5,000 budget. Same search terms, same market. On the left, we have the typical setup. Cost per click is $20 because the landing page isn't relevant, so Google charges more. 250 clicks, the page converts at 2% because it's generic. That's 5 leads, 75% book call, 70% show up, 50% are qualified, 20% close. That's 0.26 closed deals, $5,250 in revenue, $250 in profit, and a 5% ROI. On the right, we're running the exact same budget, but with the full funnel approach. And cost per click drops to $16 because the landing page matches the search term. So you get 313 clicks. Conversion rate goes to 3.5% because the page speaks to what the buyer actually searched for. You almost get 11 leads. 85% of those leads actually book because there's a calendar link right on the page. 80% show up because there's a pre-call sequence. 65% are qualified because there's a qualification layer training the algorithm. 23% close because the leads are warmed up and the prospects come in prepared. 1.1 closed deals, $22,203 in revenue, $17,203 in profit, and that's a 344% ROI. The exact same budget, the same keywords, the same market, but a 339% difference in ROI. That gap isn't about Google Ads or what search term you're targeting. It's about what happens after the click. I run a B2B Google Ads agency, so you would expect me to say that Google Ads works for everyone. It doesn't. Do the 4-step test. Is it searchable? Does the math check out? Is there healthy competition? And do you have a proper funnel? If you're a sales-led B2B company, but your average lifetime gross profit is less than $5,000, or nobody's searching for what you sell, or your close rate is around 5%, so that no matter how good your landing page is, the math would never work, or you don't have a proper funnel setup, I want to explicitly ask you not to run Google Ads yet. Fix your close rates, fix your funnel, fix your customer retention first. But if you went through all 4 steps and everything checks out, you're likely sitting on a very profitable customer acquisition channel. If that's you, I have a present for you. We run a free growth audit for B2B businesses. It's everything I just walked you through, but with your actual numbers specific to your market and your competitors, and a personalized version of that before and after funnel breakdown showing you what the ROI would look like for your specific business. If that's interesting for you, there's a link in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.